Hi there, it's Di from Refurbies, and today's video is another YouTube challenge called the Great Aussie Challenge. In this challenge, we're going to be just using as many Aussie products as we can and showcasing how wonderful they are. This challenge is hosted by the lovely Fiona from Flipping Side Hustle. There will be a link to her channel in my description box, and there will also be a link to the playlist in the description box below. Please check out all the other videos in this challenge, and if you haven't already, give them a like and a subscribe and a thumbs up. So stay tuned to see what we come up with. First things first, this is what we started with. A very boring, plain pair of pine bedsides, solid pine, good construction, really worth the refurb. So the first thing I did was to remove all the drawer pulls. This had 2 drawer pulls on each door, which kind of reminds me of like a soldier's uniform, you know, like the nutcracker. I don't know. I don't like that look. It just reminds me of little tin soldiers. So I removed all the drawer pulls, and then once I did that, I puttied the holes with just some poly filler from Bunnings. And while I was waiting for that to dry, I got started on the prep work for the rest of the drawers. Next part of the prep work was to strip the varnish off the top. So I'm using Pure Eco's new Eco Stripper. I applied 1 thick coat and covered it in plastic. Got a little impatient, whipped it off before it was ready and scraped it off, which got a lot off, but it needed to sit longer. So I reapplied it, let it sit longer, and then came back and scraped the rest of the varnish off. This stuff is really, really good. I found it to be really easy to use. It smells great. It's got like a lemon smell, so highly recommend it. Another great Aussie product. Once I'd finished with the stripper, I removed the remaining residue with some soap and water, let it dry, and then came over the top with some 120 grit sandpaper, which removed any of the smaller bits of remaining varnish. It was very, very simple and a nice, quick, easy process. Next step was to apply some base and blocker. I'm using Pure Eco's base and blocker in the colour grey and their 50mm palm brush to apply the product. Now that the painting's all done, I'm going to go back to the top and I'm going to tidy up the edges and just get some clean lines where the paint might have, gone above where we wanted it to be bare timber. So I'll tidy that up and then I'll give the top one final smooth sand and then it'll be ready for staining. Now I'm going to use Pureco Stain and Glaze in the colour Whisper and the Pureco sponge applicator to apply the stain. I'm going to do 2 coats of stain and hopefully that will be enough to give it the look that I want. So here's the first coat and then the second coat, and obviously letting that dry in between. And then once that's done and dry, I'm going to apply a stencil from Gemini Creative, which I do stock in my store. It's the large mandala stencil and it's really lovely. I'm going to use a Pureco flat tip wax brush to apply it, and I'm using Snow by Pureco, which is their white, to apply the stencil. So we'll get all that done and then I'll put on the top coat. I'm using Pureco's semi-gloss top coat, which was previously their eggshell top coat. So I'm going to apply 2 coats of that and then it'll be done. So once we've done that, I'll go back and we'll review all the products we've used. Okay, time to review the great Aussie products we used. So from Pureco, we used the Eco Stripper, the base and blocker, the 50ml palm brush, gum nut in the silk finish, Whisper Stain and Glaze, flat tip wax brush to apply our stencil, Snow in the silk finish for our stencil, and semi-gloss top coat. From Sleek Brushes, we used a 25mm round brush and a 25mm oval cutter brush. And from Gemini Creative, we used the large mandala stencil. All these companies are Australian owned.